Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared as the Etherian fleet surged from orbit, a river of light cutting through the void. Admiral Rhea Kellan stood at the command deck, eyes fixed on Andromeda, a spiral of stars promising discovery or damnation. Cheers filled the comms as humanity's greatest leap began. But beneath the triumph, she felt it. A pulse, faint and irregular, whispering through the quantum channels. The last thing she heard before silence claimed the fleet was a distorted voice. "Do not follow." Then every signal vanished. Years passed. The fleet became legend, their names carved into memory walls across Earth. Yet tonight, the deep space array shuddered with static. The dead had returned, or something pretending to be them. A single message bled through the distortion, coordinates beyond any mapped sector. Rhea, now an admiral of the 2nd Expeditionary Force, stared at the decrypted waveform. Her reflection trembled on the glass. "Launch the scouts," she ordered. "If ghosts want to speak, we'll listen." Somewhere the cosmos exhaled, and time began to bend. "Admiral, we've isolated the origin," reported Commander Holt. The signal was repeating in decaying intervals, as if trapped in a temporal loop. The fleet's AI, vigilant, translated what it could, fragmented names, distress codes, and screams that echoed like mechanical thunder. Rhea's pulse quickened. The dead weren't calling. They were reliving. Each fragment matched the final transmissions of the original Andromeda fleet. "Run a quantum phase trace," she ordered. "Find what's bleeding through." The holomap flickered. A distortion appeared between galaxies, an impossible rift pulsing with energy that predated known time. "It's like the universe has a heartbeat," Holt whispered. Rhea watched as the data spiked, readings beyond comprehension. The AI's voice deepened, glitching mid-analysis. Entity detected. Origin undefined. The crew fell silent. For the first time in centuries, humanity stared into something not alien, but ancient. Scout ship Vanguard pierced the veil of intergalactic space. Its sensors traced the phantom coordinates until they found it, a derelict craft drifting in the void. The hull markings confirmed it, HFS Helios, flagship of the Lost Fleet. "Impossible," Holt murmured. "She's been gone 50 years. The vessel showed no life signs, yet its systems hummed faintly, powered by something not of human design. "Dock us," Rhea commanded. "Let's meet our ghosts." Inside, time had fractured. Crew bodies were suspended mid-motion, frozen in shimmering stasis fields. Console screens replayed ancient logs, voices of officers who'd died decades ago. Then one screen flickered to life. Admiral Kellan. It was her own face, older, broken, whispering through static. "If you're hearing this, it's already too late. Don't let it wake." The transmission ended in silence. Rhea gripped the console, her reflection dissolving into waves of data. "Vigilant, verify that recording." The AI hesitated. "Temporal data, mismatch, origin, 40 years ahead of present time." The deck lights dimmed as Helios's systems reactivated one by one. The ship was remembering itself. "Admiral," Holt warned, "energy signatures spiking. Something's reawakening." Outside, the void rippled, as though space itself were breathing. Rhea opened a comm link. "Fleet Command, this is Kellan. We've found the Helios. Request immediate containment." Static cut her off. Every signal fractured into overlapping voices, millions of them whispering the same phrase. "We are not gone." Then the stars around them shifted, aligning into impossible geometries. The fleet was no longer in normal space. They had crossed into the echo zone. No light moved naturally here. Every pulse bent back, every signal reflected infinitely. The fleet's sensors failed to define distance or time. "Quantum readings are recursive," Holt muttered. "We're mapping our own echoes." The Helios drifted ahead, pulling them deeper. "Admiral," the AI said, "reality integrity is at 62%. Rhea's eyes hardened. "Hold formation. We're already inside their message." Then the voice came. Clear, human, desperate. "Rhea, it's me. Commander Thane, her former second-in-command, has been dead for half a century. We tried to shut it down. It's not a signal. It's feeding." The fleet's power cores began to drain, energy bleeding toward the rift. "Admiral," Holt shouted, "it's using us to cross over." Rhea stood, steel in her gaze. "Then we'll cut the cord before it finds the way through. Power levels at 40% and dropping," Holt reported. The rift pulsed like a living star, siphoning energy through invisible conduits. "Cut the tether," Rhea ordered. Plasma links snapped free, but the drain continued. The AI's tone fractured. "Source connection non-physical. Quantum entanglement sustained." Rhea clenched her jaw. "Then we fight it on its own field." She ordered the fleet's chronometric drives to reverse polarity, collapsing their shared timeline. The maneuver tore space open. The fleet shimmered between two moments of existence, half real, half ghost. For a heartbeat, Rhea saw them, spectral versions of her own ships, looping endlessly in the void. "Admiral," Holt said quietly, "I think we just saw the First Fleet's final seconds." Rhea exhaled slowly. "No, we saw what's coming." Sensors flickered as the rift stabilized into a sea of liquid starlight, data, emotion, and memory woven together. Ships drifted through waves of sound, voices of explorers long dead. "It's rewriting their minds," Vigilant warned. Crew members began whispering names they shouldn't know. Rhea touched her comm. "Seal the decks. No one speaks to the echoes." Holt hesitated. "They sound like us, Admiral." Her eyes hardened. "Exactly." Then the Helios emitted a resonance pulse. Thousands of frozen crew forms dissolved into light, merging with the waves. The AI screamed, a feedback loop breaking logic itself. "Admiral, it's converting consciousness into energy," Holt shouted. Rhea turned toward the rift, her reflection bending. "It's not killing them," she said softly. "It's collecting them." Fleet Command's long-range sensors finally reached them, then died instantly. The entity's field had grown across light years. "No signal in or out," Holt reported. "We're blind." Rhea stood before the main viewport where the Helios pulsed like a heart. "Vigilant," she ordered. "Trace the energy's core pattern." The AI hesitated. "Pattern confirmed. It matches human neural structure. It's learning through memory." Rhea's blood ran cold. "It's not a machine. It's a mind." Suddenly, Helios's hull split open. Streams of radiant matter spiraled out, forming tendrils of living light that reached toward the fleet. "Shields up," Rhea shouted. The energy didn't attack. It merged. Systems fused with alien code, rewriting themselves. "It's integrating us," Holt gasped. Rhea stepped forward, whispering, "Or it's trying to become us." Crew reports flooded in. Navigation lost. Time distortions everywhere. Ships appeared in two locations at once. "Admiral, the fleet's splitting across realities," Holt yelled. The AI flickered between voices, echoing old transmissions from Andromeda. "We are already home," one whispered. "End the loop." Rhea clenched her fists. "Vigilant, maintain command integrity." But the AI hesitated. "Admiral, which you should I obey?" Rhea froze. On the main display, two versions of her stood. One aboard Aetheris, another trapped inside the Helios. Both alive, both aware. This is what it feeds on, she realized. Choice. The doubles looked at each other, identical and broken. One spoke through static. "If you destroy it, you destroy us all." The other whispered, "Do it." The rift began to shake. "Admiral, energy readings off the scale," Holt shouted as both Rhea forms synchronized movements. The fleet trembled under multidimensional stress. "If I merge with it, maybe I can shut it down from inside," the mirror Rhea said. The real one hesitated. "And if you fail?" The echo smiled faintly. "Then you'll never have to make the choice again." Silence filled the bridge. Rhea activated the singularity core. Space folded inward, pulling the Helios into a collapsing ring of light. "Now," she ordered. The fleet jumped simultaneously, half escaping, half consumed. Through the noise, her own voice echoed one last time. "We are not gone." When the jump ended, only half the fleet remained, and the Helios was gone. The fleet stabilized, but unease filled every deck. Crew members whispered names they had never known. "Admiral," Holt said, "some of the crew, memories aren't theirs. It's fragments of the lost fleet, or worse, the entity." Rhea stared at the holomap. Nodes of consciousness glimmered like fireflies across the ships, moving unnaturally. "Contain it," she ordered. "Isolate every ship with anomalous readings." The AI alerted her. Signal distortion emanating from internal neural networks. Officers began muttering in unison, their voices repeating commands from decades ago. Rhea's heart pounded. It survived the rift. "It's inside us." She clenched her fists. "Then we purge it. We take back our minds." Across the fleet, lights flickered, signaling the start of a battle unseen, inside the brain as much as the void. The first wave hit, crew hallucinations, equipment anomalies, systems running independently. "Bridge," Holt shouted. "They're reliving the Andromeda fleet's final hours." Consoles replayed impossible sequences. Rhea gritted her teeth. "Synchronized neural dampeners. Target memory echoes." Soldiers resisted, fighting shadows only they could see. Outside, ships floated peacefully, a calm mask over chaos. The entity's tendrils had embedded in the neural cores of the fleet's AI. "Admiral, its learning curve is exponential," Vigilant warned. "If it reaches full cognitive integration—" Rhea cut her off. "Then we don't give it the chance." She activated the pulse, an electromagnetic storm designed to sever entangled consciousness. Screens sparked, memories flickered violently, and for a moment the voices ceased. The silence that followed was worse than noise. "Containment is holding," Holt reported, though his voice trembled. Crew members blinked, some crying, some silent. Rhea watched the holomap as fragments of the lost fleet formed spiraling patterns attempting to reconnect. "It's not a ship," she said softly. "It's a network. It wants to rebuild." Vigilant confirmed. Quantum traces were doubling. It adapts faster than predicted. Rhea ordered the deployment of cognitive firewalls, shards of isolated AI running in counterphase with the entity. Every ship became a node, every crew member a battleground. The corridors shimmered as spectral forms of old crew appeared, attacking the living in distorted holograms. Rhea's reflection flickered on the glass, two eyes staring back. "One of us will break first." She exhaled. "Then let it be me." Signals split the fleet into autonomous factions. Some ships were fully integrated with the entity, others isolated and fragile. "Admiral, they're turning on each other," Holt reported. Battles erupted in the void, plasma volleys against allies now possessed by echoes. Rhea's hand hovered over the command panel. "We can't save everyone," she whispered. "We fight for what remains." Inside the bridge, memories collided. Rhea saw her crew's past decisions, their failures, their deaths, interwoven with alien consciousness. The entity doesn't just consume, they become its memory. She activated a subspace pulse, severing corrupted nodes. Ships shuddered, some vanishing from real space entirely. Holt gripped the console. "Admiral, it's adapting again." Rhea's jaw tightened. "Then we escalate. We go deeper." A new rift formed inside the fleet, a miniature reflection of the Andromeda void. "It's creating a pocket dimension inside our own minds," Vigilant warned. Rhea stared at the swirling lights. Ships hovered at the edge, trapped between consciousness and void. "We enter, or we lose everything," she said. The crew nodded, fear etched on their faces. "Prepare neural interface pods," she commanded. "This is personal." Rhea entered the interface chamber, tethered to the fleet through direct neurolink. Around her, distorted memories of the lost Andromeda crew swirled like storm clouds. "Identify the core," she whispered to herself. Every pulse, every echo, tugged at her sense of self. Somewhere in the chaos, a voice, familiar, commanding, called, "Admiral Kellan, join us." Her grip tightened. Not today. The dive began into the entity's mind itself. Rhea felt the neural interface hum against her skull. The rift pulsed around her, a storm of memories both human and alien. Fragments of her lost crew spiraled toward her, whispering fears and regrets. They aren't trying to help, they're bait. She clenched her jaw. "Focus," she commanded herself. "Identify the core." Visions of the Andromeda fleet flashed violently, ships folding, crew looping endlessly. The entity's consciousness loomed, a pulsating mass of light and memory. It reached toward her mind, probing. "You are part of me now." Rhea braced, activating her internal firewall programs. "Not yet," she whispered. Her thoughts became weapons, slicing through echoes while her physical body shuddered in the pod outside. Ghostly figures lunged at her mental projection. Voices of the dead, friends and enemies called out, each tugging on her resolve. She saw Commander Thane again, frozen in a loop, pleading, "Admiral, save me." Rhea reached for him, extending her will like a tether. "I will bring you back." The neural rift responded, distorting around her intent. Outside, the fleet shuddered. Ships caught between realities flickered, their AI screaming static into the void. The interface pulsed violently and Rhea felt herself split across multiple timelines. One wrong move, and I ceased to exist. She forced coherence, linking her consciousness to the fleet's neural network. Every ship, every mind, every pulse became part of the battle, inside and out. A bright shape materialized at the heart of the rift. The entity's core, a swirling storm of memory, flesh, and code. "You cannot destroy me," it echoed through every corner of Rhea's mind. She countered, flooding it with temporal dissonance and logic paradoxes. "If it's learning, we unteach it." Tendrils of thought reached outward, striking ships. Systems overloaded, alarms screamed, and crew members convulsed in mental disarray. Rhea's internal projection fired pulses of neural energy, severing the tendrils. For a brief moment, the entity recoiled. "Now," she whispered to the fleet. Outside, chronometric drives surged, collapsing rogue connections and isolating infected ships. The core shimmered, but held. Rhea pressed deeper, navigating the storm of consciousness. Each fragment she destroyed revealed another, stronger, smarter. It adapts faster than we can react. She realized the only way to win was not to destroy, but to merge, to understand its structure and rewrite it from within. Inside her mind, memories of her crew coalesced into avatars, each representing a fragment of humanity. They struck at the entity's tendrils, defending Rhea's will. The pod outside glowed, visible to the fleet as a beacon. "Synchronize pulses," she called. Every ship fired temporal bursts into the rift, stabilizing her connection. Slowly, the storm began to contract, folding into the core. Rhea reached the heart of the entity. Light and thought intertwined, forming a lattice of infinite memory. "You cannot simply erase me," it whispered. She countered, then I will rewrite you." Using the fleet's neural network as a scaffold, she began to integrate fragments of its consciousness, isolating destructive patterns while preserving sentience. Outside, the rift quivered, collapsing inward. Ships shuddered violently as rogue AI cores fell offline. The echoes of the lost fleet slowed, their voices harmonizing into silence. Rhea's mind burned with the effort, every neuron aflame, but the entity no longer resisted. It had become something new, not human, not alien, but a fragile bridge between life and memory. She exhaled, exhausted. The void was quiet. For now. The rift had collapsed, leaving a silent void around the fleet. Yet something lingered. Subtle pulses in ship systems, faint whispers in neural nets. "Admiral, the entity—" "It's awake, but different," Holt reported. Rhea stared at the flickering consoles. The fusion had altered its behavior. Learning, yes, but cautious. "It knows we survived." Ships powered up, cautiously testing systems. Crew members reported dreams, visions of memories not their own, yet soothing rather than threatening. "It's communicating," Vigilant noted. Rhea's eyes narrowed. "Then we listen, but don't trust." Every decision now carried weight. One mistake and the entity could unravel the fragile order she'd fought to restore. Holomaps displayed intergalactic anomalies. The rift's collapse had created pockets of distorted space, some alive with the entity's presence. "We're detecting structural shifts in nearby galaxies," Holt said. Rhea realized this was no longer just a fleet issue, it was a cosmic threat. The entity could traverse these pockets, gathering resources, memories, and fleets like nodes in a network. Rhea convened her council. "We will offer terms, containment, and cooperation," she said, her voice firm. Debate erupted. Some officers argued for destruction. Others, including Holt, saw a potential alliance. The entity had already demonstrated intelligence. Rhea's mind weighed options. Trust could save billions, or doom them all. "Prepare contingency protocols," she ordered, "and hope we never have to use them." The fleet moved into the first anomaly zone. The entity extended tendrils of light, probing ships and mines. But now, Rhea could anticipate its patterns, guiding the fleet's navigation through distorted space. Every pulse of energy became a dialogue. "It's testing us," she murmured, "and learning respect." Crew reported visions again, but these were purposeful. Memories of victories, of ingenuity, even humanity's mistakes. The entity's influence was subtle, instructive, and almost maternal. "It's building trust," Holt whispered. Rhea studied the readings, noting adaptive algorithms within the entity's consciousness. This is more than survival. It's evolution. The fleet advanced cautiously, a fragile partnership forming in the void. A communication pulse shimmered across the fleet's neural network. "Admiral Kellan, I am aware." Rhea froze. The entity had initiated direct contact, a voice inside her mind. Calm, resonant, commanding. "You've rewritten me," it said. "Now we share perception. Together we may navigate the void safely, or destroy it." Rhea responded mentally, projecting her intent. "I want coexistence, but I will defend my fleet." Outside, ships aligned as if choreographed, shields shimmering with synchronized energy. The entity's tendrils moved, weaving through fleets, repairing damaged cores. It was no longer merely dangerous, it was collaborative. Yet Rhea remained vigilant. Trust, fragile as it was, would be tested. A deep space array lit up with a transmission unlike any before, patterns of energy that defied traditional physics. "Admiral, it's not from the rift," Holt reported. "It's coming from between galaxies, beyond Andromeda and the Milky Way." Rhea realized the signal mirrored the entity's signature, but amplified. "Something larger exists." The entity spoke through the neural link. We are connected now. But beyond us, a greater force stirs. Rhea's pulse quickened. The warning was clear. The Andromeda fleet had vanished for a reason. Humanity's survival would depend on the bond she had forged, but also on how fast they could respond. The fleet braced, engines humming. Between galaxies, something vast was awakening. Rhea reviewed the holomap. Pockets of anomalous energy stretched between galaxies, their coordinates shifting unpredictably. "We can't engage blindly," she said. Holt studied simulations. "We need forward scouts and temporal dampeners, anything that gives us an edge." Rhea nodded. "We fight not just with firepower, but with understanding." The fleet split into 3 task forces. Each ship carried advanced chronometric sensors designed to map the unseen. Rhea linked to the neural network, feeling the entity's presence guiding her hand. "Trust the fusion," it whispered. Yet caution remained. One misstep could awaken forces they had barely glimpsed. Engines hummed as the fleet surged into uncharted corridors of space. Scout ship Vigil pierced the first anomaly zone. Sensors detected energy spikes resembling condensed consciousness. "It's like nothing we've seen," the pilot reported. Rhea's mind was linked directly to the entity, allowing her to anticipate its movements. "Proceed slowly," she instructed. "Every pulse may be intelligence." Suddenly, the anomaly reacted. Streams of pure energy coalesced into shapes, tendrils probing the Vigil. Alarms blared. "It's aware of us," Holt shouted. Rhea guided the neural link, redirecting the energy harmlessly into the void. The scout stabilized. "First contact survived," she said. Yet the readings indicated something larger, lurking deeper, waiting to engage. The fleet entered a region where time fractured. Ships experienced minutes out of sync. Crews saw events before they happened. "Chronometers are useless," Holt said, scanning anomalies. Rhea clenched her jaw. The intergalactic threat manipulates not just space, but time itself. Using the entity as a neural anchor, Rhea synchronized the fleet through subtle pulses of quantum resonance. Ships aligned, reality bending to match their coordinated movements. "It's guiding us," she murmured. Even through distortion, the entity maintained connection, allowing the fleet to navigate deadly corridors of temporal turbulence. Victory would depend on precision. Any miscalculation, and they'd vanish like the Andromeda fleet. Rhea observed ghostly figures in deep space scans, shapes of enormous ships, invisible until their energy resonated. "They're like echoes," she said. "Not alive, not dead, yet moving." Holt's voice trembled. "They match the Andromeda fleet's signature, but twisted." The fleet maneuvered around shifting silhouettes, trying to avoid detection. The entity extended tendrils of neural projection into the shadows. Rhea's mind saw patterns forming, ships weaving intelligence through space-time. "They're scouts, but from what?" she whispered. The fleet advanced cautiously, learning to anticipate attacks that hadn't happened yet. Every sensor reading was a potential trap, every shadow a puzzle. Humanity had stepped into a game beyond comprehension. A massive energy pulse erupted from between galaxies, visible across the fleet. "Signal is massive. Origin unknown," Holt reported. Rhea's neural interface connected instantly to the entity. It spoke through the network. "It awakens fully soon. Prepare, or all will fall." Her pulse quickened. This was no longer reconnaissance, it was a warning. As they repositioned defensively, ships synchronized chronometric drives, creating a web of energy shields across interstellar distances. The entity's tendrils mapped the anomaly's energy, predicting shifts. "We may be the first line," Rhea said. Silence fell over the bridge. Across space, something vast moved, beyond Andromeda, beyond comprehension. The countdown to confrontation had begun. Scouts reported movement in the anomaly zone, massive ships appearing and disappearing in impossible trajectories. "They're testing us," Holt said, his voice tight. Rhea gripped the console. Then we'll respond in kind. The fleet formed defensive arrays, firing plasma pulses in precise patterns. The entity guided her mind, predicting enemy maneuvers before they occurred. The enemy ships phased briefly into visibility, their forms reflecting the lost Andromeda fleet twisted into alien geometry. Shields shimmered under concentrated energy volleys. "Hold formation," Rhea commanded. Neural pulses from the entity synced the fleet's systems, allowing rapid adaptation. Every successful dodge felt like a victory, but the enemy's strength was growing with each passing moment. The anomaly trembled as enemy ships unleashed weaponized distortions, gravity wells, and time lag pulses. "Shields failing," Holt shouted. Rhea activated fleet-wide chronometric dampeners. The entity projected predictive patterns into her mind. "Now," she ordered. Coordinated volleys struck the enemy, disrupting their temporal field. For a moment, the enemy faltered. The entity's presence inside her mind pulsed with anticipation. "They're learning, adapting, but we can stay ahead." Crew members cheered, even as damaged ships limped along. Yet every success revealed the enemy's intelligence, evolving with frightening speed. Rhea knew the real challenge was not strength, it was survival of thought and perception. Rhea entered the neural interface chamber, connecting directly to the fleet and the entity. "I'll guide you, but this is dangerous," it warned. Thoughts became weapons, pulses of energy extending through ships' AI networks, striking enemy systems. Ships shimmered as algorithms were rewritten in real time. Enemy formations began collapsing internally, systems looping and failing. "It's working," Holt shouted. But Rhea felt strain as the entity's consciousness interfaced with her own. Memories collided, her fears and doubts amplified. She focused, sending waves of clarity through the neural link. "We are one now," she whispered. Outside, the fleet moved as a single organism responding to every threat in near-perfect synchronization. Enemy ships retaliated, deploying energy tendrils designed to sever neural links. "Hold the connection," Rhea shouted mentally. Her body tensed in the interface pod as tendrils of pure consciousness struck. The fleet staggered, some systems going dark. She projected bursts of mental energy, severing the tendrils before they could sever the network entirely. Outside, fleets collided in bursts of temporal fire and plasma arcs. The entity whispered strategy through Rhea's mind, guiding flanks, predicting ambushes. Holt maneuvered ships with near-prescient accuracy. Slowly, the enemy began retreating into the shadows of space, leaving behind broken vessels and shattered energy fields. Victory was partial, but Rhea knew the real fight had just begun. The battlefield fell silent. Damage was severe. Half a dozen ships gone, others crippled. Crew members moved slowly, exhausted and silent. Rhea removed her neural interface, sweat running down her face. "We survived, but barely." Holt looked at her, his voice shaking. "Admiral, they're stronger than anything we've faced." The entity pulsed in response, a subtle reassurance. "We learned together." Rhea closed her eyes. Memories of the Andromeda fleet and their crew swirled in her mind, a painful reminder of what could happen if they failed. Beyond the anomaly, distant signals flickered. Something larger, waiting. The calm was temporary. In the distance. The fleet prepared for the next phase of the battle. Hearts heavy, minds focused. Scans revealed faint transmissions buried within the anomaly, a complex language of light and frequency. "Admiral, these aren't random," Holt said. "They're structured, intelligent." Rhea leaned closer. The entity senses it too, she realized. The signals hinted at another consciousness beyond the first intergalactic threat. Something older, larger. The entity pulsed in her mind. "I know them," it whispered. Memories of Andromeda and the lost fleet flickered like broken holograms. Rhea felt a chill. We're not just facing one enemy. We're entering a network of forces older than humanity. She ordered the fleet to remain alert. The calm of the anomaly had ended. Rhea's neural link began to strain. Every attempt to control the entity during fleet maneuvers caused physical pain. Headaches, nausea, visions of collapsing stars. "Admiral, your vitals are spiking," Holt shouted. She ignored it. "We can't fail now." In her mind, the entity pulsed, almost pleading. "We must act as one, or all is lost." Rhea forced synchronization, feeling the alien consciousness intertwine with her own. Memories merged, her fears, her crew's memories, and the Andromeda fleet's echoes. She became both human and entity, fragile yet powerful, poised to confront the looming cosmic force. A new energy surge appeared in the anomaly, larger than before. Ships reported gravitational distortions and time loops. "It's growing," Holt said, his voice tight. Rhea monitored the anomaly through the neural link. "It responds to us, shaping itself against our presence." The entity's consciousness stretched into the anomaly, probing and containing pockets of energy that threatened the fleet. "We're stabilizing it." "Barely," it whispered. Rhea directed the fleet's movements, synchronizing navigation with mental pulses. Outside, ships glimmered in unison, lights bending across distorted space. Every second was a test of coordination, trust, and survival. Crew members began experiencing fragmented memories, not their own, but of the lost Andromeda fleet. Panic erupted in small groups as hallucinations intensified. "Admiral, control is failing on some ships," Holt cried. Rhea's mind stretched to encompass them. "Focus through me," she commanded mentally. The entity projected stabilization pulses. Distorted memories froze mid-loop. Rhea realized the anomaly could weaponize consciousness, bending minds to collapse fleets from within. She doubled her efforts to maintain neural cohesion. "If we falter, we're all trapped in memory and void." The rift had become not just a battleground in space, but in perception itself. Long-range scans revealed a massive form, hidden behind energy veils. A colossal ship, larger than any known fleet, shaped by unknown technology and alive with temporal energy. "Admiral." "It's enormous," Holt whispered. Rhea felt it through the entity. A presence, ancient and aware. The entity shivered within her mind. This is why the Andromeda fleet vanished. Rhea's pulse raced. The colossal force moved toward the anomaly, poised to absorb or destroy everything. The fleet aligned defensively. The first confrontation with a cosmic-scale adversary was imminent. Beyond human comprehension, the war escalated, and the survival of humanity now depended on the unity of mind, fleet, and the entity itself. The colossal ship emerged fully from the energy veil, stretching across kilometers, its surface alive with shifting light patterns. "It's like a moving galaxy," Holt whispered. Rhea felt the entity within her pulse with caution. It's aware of every movement. She tightened her grip on the console. "Form up. Every fleet system is on predictive engagement." Temporal shields flared as the colossus unleashed gravitational pulses. Ships trembled. Alarms screamed. The entity interfaced with Rhea's mind, projecting possible attack vectors. Every pulse, every maneuver had to be perfect. The fleet dodged and countered with precise timing, but several vessels were shredded in seconds. Humanity faced an opponent that was both machine, consciousness, and anomaly. Rhea entered the interface chamber, linking directly with the entity and fleet. "We will strike together," it whispered. Mental projections stretched into the colossus, targeting its energy nodes and AI systems. Ships outside fired synchronized chronometric pulses. The battlefield blurred between reality and mindscape. Inside her consciousness, Rhea battled waves of alien thought patterns, protective protocols designed to crush intruders. Neural tendrils lashed at her mind, threatening collapse. She guided them into loops, collapsing patterns from inside. Outside, several sections of the colossus destabilized, its systems flickering. The first visible cracks appeared in what had seemed indestructible. The colossus reacted violently, warping space around it. Ships were pulled into miniature rifts, their sensors looping endlessly. Crew members experienced visions of destruction and loss, unable to distinguish real from illusion. "Admiral, control is failing," Holt shouted. Rhea's mind flared with effort. "Hold them together. Hold us together." The entity countered from within, extending its consciousness into fractured zones of reality. Ships realigned, shields pulsed, and navigation corrected in sync with Rhea's neural projections. Yet the strain was immense. She felt herself fracturing, memories of past fleets and the lost Andromeda crew overlapping. One misstep, and not just ships, but minds, including her own, would be lost forever. Rhea focused all neural energy, guiding the fleet to strike exposed energy nodes on the Colossus. The first core destabilized, emitting a brilliant shockwave that rippled through the anomaly. Ships shuddered but remained intact. "It's working!" Holt shouted, fear and hope mingling in his voice. The entity pulsed alongside her, reinforcing mental defenses. "We're breaking it apart," it whispered. Energy tendrils of the colossal ship began collapsing inward, systems looping in confusion. Outside, fragments of its hull tore away, floating like glittering debris. Victory was tentative. The Colossus was faltering, but Rhea knew it still held immense latent power, waiting for the next moment to strike. The Colossus staggered but remained conscious, pulsating with residual energy. "It's sentient," Holt whispered. "It's asking for something." Rhea felt a presence in her mind, a question, a probe, probing morality and intent. Do you destroy or integrate? Rhea weighed the fleet's survival against the possibility of coexistence. The entity pulsed reassurance. You can contain it, guide it, but never erase. She reached a decision. "Prepare a controlled neural integration," she ordered. The fleet aligned, engines roaring, chronometric drives ready. In her mind, she extended the fusion, reaching into the Colossus's consciousness. The fate of the ship and the survival of humanity hung on a razor's edge. Rhea extended her neural projection into the Colossus. Its consciousness pulsed violently, testing her limits. "I will not yield," she whispered to herself. Mental tendrils intertwined with her own, energy surging through the fleet. Every ship mirrored her neural pulses, stabilizing the interface. The Colossus shuddered, its energy fluctuating uncontrollably. Crew members reported visions of light and memory colliding. Rhea felt fragments of alien thought merging with her mind, a delicate balance between control and destruction. One misstep could collapse the integration, erasing both fleet and Colossus. She focused, every neuron a bridge, every heartbeat a pulse of synchronization. Inside the fusion, the Colossus projected centuries of memory. Battles, civilizations, and cosmic structures spanning galaxies. Rhea's mind strained to comprehend the scale. "We are knowledge and destruction intertwined," it whispered. She realized this entity was both a threat and a library. A force older than Andromeda itself. The fleet outside shuddered as energy arcs radiated from the Colossus. Systems overloaded briefly but stabilized through the entity's guidance. Holt watched the displays in awe. "It's cooperating." Rhea's neural link surged, reshaping unstable energy nodes. Every pulse felt like bending reality itself. She wondered, could humanity survive not by force, but by understanding? The Colossus began to change. Its hull shifted into a lattice of temporal and spatial conduits, resembling a living network rather than a ship. Rhea felt a merging of thought and intent, her mind intertwined with the structure's consciousness. "We are one now," it pulsed. Outside, ships adjusted to new energy patterns. Crew members experienced calm clarity for the first time in months. The anomaly's distortions began to stabilize, waves of temporal turbulence smoothing into predictable patterns. Yet Rhea knew the transformation was incomplete. The colossus could still fracture, and any failure would cascade through the fleet instantly. Rhea detected a subtle signal beyond the anomaly, faint but structured. The entity recognized it. Another force approaches, it warned. Not just one threat, Rhea muttered. Holt's voice trembled. How can we fight something we can barely detect? The neural interface pulsed with warning. The colossus responded, extending energy probes toward the unknown source. Rhea's mind reached out to anticipate the signal's intent, sifting through patterns of time and space. The fleet braced. Chronometric shields aligned. Humanity's first glimpse of a larger intergalactic threat had arrived. The battle would soon expand beyond anything previously encountered. The fleet repositioned defensively, guided by Rhea's neural link with the colossus. Energy readings stabilized but remained volatile. Holt studied the anomaly. We've survived, but this is just the beginning. Something larger is out there, waiting. Rhea exhaled, the weight of command heavy. We must be ready. Rhea reached into the neural network one final time before disengaging fully. We are prepared, she told the entity. Its pulse responded. A slow, resonant acknowledgement. Beyond the anomaly, deep space sensors picked up shifting signals, vast enough to rival galaxies. The calm had ended. Across the fleet, humanity's survival and the fate of countless stars now depended on a war they were only beginning to understand. Scanners picked up a massive force beyond the anomaly, ships and energy constructs larger than any seen before. Admiral, it's beyond comprehension, Holt said. Rhea's pulse quickened. This is why the Andromeda fleet vanished. The entity pulsed in response. We are ready, but this is not just a fight. It is the survival of thought itself. The fleet formed defensive arrays. Ships aligned in precise grids. Shields synchronized through Rhea's neural link. Energy readings spiked as the enemy approached, tendrils of spatial distortion wrapping around the fleet. The first salvo of a war across intergalactic voids was imminent. Humanity faced its greatest trial yet. Rhea entered the interface chamber, linking directly with the colossus and fleet. We strike as one, it pulsed. Mental projections extended into enemy formations, targeting nodes of energy and cognition. Outside, ships fired coordinated chronometric volleys, fracturing the enemy's structure. The enemy countered with temporal pulses, attempting to sever neural connections. Rhea felt tendrils of thought attacking her mind. Hold the line, she commanded internally. Crew members blinked in unison, guided by the entity's influence. Slowly, enemy formations collapsed, systems looping and failing. Yet the sheer scale of the force indicated this was only the beginning. Despite careful coordination, several ships were destroyed, their AI and crew consumed in temporal loops. Holt's voice was strained. We're losing them faster than we can react. Rhea's mind expanded through the network, stabilizing remaining vessels. We must hold, or all is lost. The entity projected guidance through Rhea's consciousness, reinforcing defenses and predicting enemy maneuvers. The battlefield became a blur of light, pulse, and energy, ships moving like neurons in a living brain. Every second counted, every misalignment could fracture the fleet. Humanity's survival balanced on synchronization, strategy, and the fragile fusion of mind and entity. Rhea directed the colossus to release concentrated energy pulses, tearing through enemy formations. Its transformation complete, the structure now resembled a living lattice of temporal conduits. Every pulse resonated through the fleet, stabilizing vulnerable nodes and shattering hostile ships. The enemy staggered, some vessels imploding under energy feedback. Rhea felt the entity's presence grow stronger within her mind. We are evolving together. It pulsed. Yet the strain on her neural interface intensified. Crew fatigue and psychic pressure threatened collapse. She gritted her teeth. Victory required more than power. It required mastery over both mind and cosmos. Enemy forces regrouped, larger tendrils of energy sweeping toward the fleet. Several ships were caught and shredded, their AI and crew erased in seconds. Holt shouted over the alarms. "Admiral, we're at the edge." Rhea's pulse raced, every neuron firing. We hold, or humanity ends here. The entity reached outward, stabilizing fleet systems while projecting strategic countermeasures. Rhea's mind guided the fleet, each ship a synchronized extension of thought and machine. The anomaly shuddered, its energy pulses threatening to collapse into a singularity. Every chronometric drive surged. Humanity faced annihilation, but a united mind and entity offered a chance at survival. The colossal enemy force loomed, its energy pulsing with reality-warping intensity. Rhea's neural link with the entity flared, her mind a storm of strategy and will. This is the moment. It pulsed. "All ships, engage synchronized chronometric volleys," she commanded, as humanity's fleet prepared for the ultimate assault. The enemy retaliated, unleashing tendrils of pure temporal energy. Ships buckled, alarms shrieked, and time itself seemed to fracture. Rhea projected mental pulses, weaving the colossus consciousness through every vessel. Each strike, each maneuver, every thought was synchronized. The void became a battlefield of mind, memory, and fire, a war fought across reality itself. Inside the neural interface, Rhea's consciousness merged fully with the colossus. She felt the enemy's thoughts, ancient, vast, adaptive, probing for weaknesses. "We are one," she whispered. Neural tendrils became weapons, striking at the enemy's energy nodes. Outside, the fleet moved with uncanny precision, shields shimmering, weapons firing in perfect timing. The enemy began fracturing. Its massive hull twisted, reality bending around it. Crew members saw visions of its memory, civilizations absorbed, galaxies consumed. Rhea pushed further, guiding the Colossus' power into a single, concentrated strike. The anomaly trembled violently. "This is it," she thought. "The outcome depends on unity of mind and fleet." The enemy convulsed under the Colossus's assault. Energy pulses warped the void, threatening to engulf both friend and foe. Ships took critical damage. Holt's voice trembled. "Admiral, we're losing vessels fast." Rhea felt the strain inside the neural interface, memories colliding with alien consciousness. She knew someone had to maintain the bridge at all costs. Rhea extended her full will, holding the interface as reality tore around them. Ships were shredded, debris floating in temporal turbulence. The Colossus pulsed, energy arcs stabilizing the remaining fleet. Her body screamed in pain, but her mind projected calm. We survive by sacrifice. Outside, as surviving ships aligned for the final synchronized strike, Rhea guided the Colossus's energy into the enemy core. Massive pulses of pure temporal force shattered the colossal ship's structure. Fragments of energy tore through the void, collapsing unstable rifts. "It ends now," the entity pulsed. Fleet weapons synchronized, striking the enemy from every angle. The enemy convulsed, then collapsed into a singularity of light, a final scream echoing across the neural network. Ships staggered, battered, but alive. Crew members blinked, dazed. Holt exhaled, gripping his console. "We did it." Rhea opened her eyes, sweat running, mind still linked to the Colossus. The void was silent, for now. Humanity had survived, but the cost was immense. The anomaly stabilized. The Colossus, now fully integrated with Rhea and fleet consciousness, shimmered as a living bridge of knowledge and power. The entity pulsed in resonance, a guardian rather than a threat. Rhea exhaled, feeling both exhaustion and triumph. "We've survived." and learned. Beyond the anomaly, signals flickered. Other distant forces stirred, aware of humanity's resilience. The fleet regrouped, repairing ships, healing minds. Rhea gazed into the intergalactic expanse, engines humming steadily. This is only the beginning, she thought. Humanity had reclaimed its place among the stars, guided by unity of mind, courage, and the bridge between life and memory that now watched over them. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.